In Scotland there are 7,500 people in prison at any one time. Many of them are isolated from their family, from their friends. They have no one they can trust. And all the research shows that successful reintegration begins with a sense of belonging. Connect to Community is an organisation that seeks to mobilise the church in Scotland to support men and women coming out of prison by volunteer befriending and mentoring so that they can have a successful reintegration into the community after a custodial sentence.
I ended up in prison after a very violent crime. I got a life sentence and I was there for 14 years. The future scared me.
When I was leaving from prison, I had basically worries about financial, friendship, relationships, fitting back into the community, basically my life. Connect to the Community is basically, it's like winning the lottery. Connect to Community's done wonders to people that is willing to change and willing to take the support. If it wasn't for Connect to the Community, I reckon I'd be back in by now.
To have someone by your side as you tackle the issues of homelessness and employment and reintegration with your family, someone who's committed to you and has you at the centre of their vision, makes a tremendous difference.
Unfortunately, domestic violence is very common, with 1 in 4 women and 1 in 9 men experiencing domestic abuse at some stage during their lifetime. We want anyone affected by domestic violence or abuse to know that they are not alone, and that if their home is not a safe place for them to access the support needed, that there are a wide range of other safe places available. We believe in order to create a society that has zero tolerance to domestic violence and abuse, that prevention and early intervention work is crucial, and churches play a pivotal role in this. Our Safe Church Pathway empowers churches to recognise and respond to anyone affected by domestic violence or abuse through the provision of our ONUS CPD certified training and safe place resources.
We have a God-given mission to reach out to the vulnerable and the weak, especially those who have no voice. We are a safe church here at Antrim Methodist, and to help us in that task, we can direct people to Women's Aid who have the expertise and the skills to help them who come to us. And we pray that we can play a wider part in the campaign of raising awareness so we can stop and even end violence and abuse in any form.
Our accredited safe churches will provide a safe place for anyone affected by domestic violence or abuse to confidentially access information and support services available.
Street Angels is a very simple idea. People who care about other people going out into the streets and doing just that. We meet at 9 o'clock and we'll just wander the streets, looking out for people, whether they're visiting the theatre, whether they're out clubbing, whether they're working in the town centre, for people who are lying in the gutter, covered in sick or whatever else. It's actually picking them up, carrying back to our Safe Place cafe, cleaning them up, getting them to a state where they can get into a taxi and getting them home. We have a fantastic team of volunteers who commit to this week in, week out, who give up their weekends for the sake of others. Halifax was known as a place where thousands of people would descend every Friday and Saturday night. There'd be binge drinking, violence, sexual assault, spots of underage drinking, and really the town centre had become a no-go area for the majority of people. We've learnt lots over the last 5.5 years, and in our first year in Halifax Town Centre, violent crime was reduced by 42%. And it was great that the police and the council and other agencies said it's because Christians who care are out on the streets of our town actually doing something, putting their faith into action and making a difference. The thing that makes it worthwhile for me is the people that we help, and the people that come back to say thank you. The young girl that we pick up age 14 who then comes back 4.5 years later to say, because of you, my life got sorted and I'm now gone to university and I'm a better person because of the help that you gave.
When you go out and you meet someone and they're extremely vulnerable, their friends have left them, or their drinks have been spiked, or they're in a gang and they want to get out, and you are spending time with them to say, I don't mind who you are, I don't care what you believe, I don't care how you look, I don't care how you dress, I want to stay with you until someone comes to pick you up, I want to make sure that you get home, or I want to make sure that you find an exit strategy for this, because you know something, I care for you.
Pray for me, I can't get home.
A street pastor is someone from a local church who goes on the street between 10 and 4 o'clock in the morning to care, to listen, and to help people.
We walked up the other side of the road, right, with his jackal snake coming back.
So what we do, we equip people by training them to serve people on the streets.
There are some 13-year-olds who are also...
You could be 90 years of age or you could be 18. We give you all the tools so that you can be effective in serving your community. It's not about the amount of people you talk to or help. The fact you could spend all night with one person, that's enough. That's it. That is what you're there to do.
I'm not enough of you. There's too many people looking down people.
Because making people feel valued is far more important than you call the ambulance 20 times. I believe that every Christian should serve as a street pastor for at least 2 years within their community. Going out there with absolutely no agenda. The only thing I have in my heart is the love of Jesus.
Hey Josh, you alright?
TLG Early Intervention is about taking time with children and young people who are at that point of crisis in their education, enabling families to hope again that school could be a success for their child. It's just volunteers who have 1 hour a week to spend with a child, to go into a primary school and to deliver a program that will bring transformation in that child's behaviour, not just at school, but also at home.
And a shield says something about what's important to you. It's like a picture of who you are and what you like.
One of the great activities that we do is to encourage children to actually create a shield which represents them. To do that in a really creative way, but to give them chance to reflect on who they are and the people who are around them. And it's not just about education, it's about coaching and nurturing the whole family. Just the power of being in touch with home to help and encourage and keep the parent included.
A little bit of education aspect, because we measure how far they go.
Shouldn't just be about pulling people out of the river who are drowning. We're going upstream. We're getting in there really, really early. There are families and children that would benefit so much from some help. In every town where there's a church and there's a school, then this is a programme that can make a difference.
Statistics tell us that over 2/3 of the prison population were excluded from school. Children and young people can be at risk of exclusion from school for a variety of different reasons.
There's my name. Go to the Goldsmith.
TLG Education Centres is all about getting in early before they have been excluded.
You do what? To withdraw cash.
Our referrals will often come from local schools who identify young people who are on the cusp of exclusion.
Before we get started, if you can put today's date in your books.
TLG help the church to engage with young people who are at risk of exclusion or may have already been excluded by setting up an alternative provision school and see them reintegrated, having been given the support that they require.
So this is our reward system, and again, we're about behaviour leadership.
We give a church all the support they need, both in the project management, but also things like curriculum delivery.
Teaching them about personal development.
And all the red tape involved in running an independent school. The hope is that local churches up and down the country will make a difference in the lives of young people most at need in their communities. What I love most is when you see their confidence grow and you see that young person beginning to blossom.
There's something socially and spiritually significant about the relationships between fathers and their children. Sometimes there's not the opportunity for them to spend time, just the dad and the child. And I think Who Let the Dads Out gives them that opportunity within a church context. It gives them an opportunity to spend time together, to have fun together.
Who Let the Dads Out exists to inspire, equip and support local churches to set up ministries to reach out to fathers and children within their communities.
We're not prescriptive about how it should be run. We just want Who Let the Dads Out to be a catalyst for engaging with fathers and their children and for building up relationships with people in the community.
Because I'm at work all week, you know, you've only got a finite time at the weekends to do something, so you know, this is a good opportunity. It's nice for the mums as well.
The thing that dads often don't get is an opportunity to mix with other dads and talk to other dads, and that's what Who Let the Dads Out gives them.
It has been quite busy. It's annual review time at work.
We also get the benefit of engagement with people from the church, people who can express God's love to them.
This is your first time. Hello, I'm Simon. Nice to meet you.
And begin to build up relationships with them.
Yeah, I never knew anything like this existed, so it's great.
We've been around for about 10 years now, and it tends to be weekends.
If the church wants to set up a Who Let the Dads Out group, I'd recommend that they start off with our website, find out where the closest group is, and go out and see what happens in practice. I genuinely think that Who Let the Dads Out can change a nation. I think if we turn the hearts of fathers to their children and the hearts of children to their fathers, and we make readier people prepared for God, I think that can change a nation.
It's painful when you're seeing a young person, 14, 15, 16, who hasn't even lived yet, haven't even discovered life, and seeing that they're being buried. Knife crime, gun crime, murder destroys families. Word for Weapons helps the local church by equipping them with a secure weapons bin and the training and information that they need in order to help their community to be safer.
Each knife that's in there is potentially a life saved. So if there's only 2 knives in there, that's potentially 2 lives saved.
If a church wants to start an initiative with Word for Weapons, they just need a couple of people to contact us.
Hello, Word for Weapons.
We'll send them out an information pack, an application form.
What we'd need to do is book a site visit, so we'd make sure that where you'd like to have the bin installed is away from CCTV, and we'd make sure that the site...
And we'll do a risk assessment to make sure it's appropriate, and we'll look at the crime stats in the area as well. We first of all decide if we put the bins outside churches, when someone goes to the bin, on the bin would be a notice that if you want to receive a free bag, in there is a Bible or other bits of information to help young people. That's now your opportunity as a church to engage and say, is there anything else that we can do for you? Ultimately, I'd like to see every town, every major city in the UK with a weapons bin, and just to make the United Kingdom a much safer place.